The opening message for today is pedos get the white phosphorus.
Absolutely. Morning, folks. Merry Christmas. We were talking backstage about last night's show, and
Show on Shadows channel for those of you watching on Kick and don't know our schedule. Being this is the third episode we've done over there.
yeah, I
Um,
was thinking of doing the TikTok thing, just because I do have a lot of short videos that I could upload real quick over there.
I
Uh,
think they have to be under 30 or 60 seconds.
oh, fuck!
TikTok is like a really short format.
Never mind.
It's YouTube Shorts is based on it,
Yeah,
so
I can't possibly do that.
yeah,
I don't know how anybody could in this genre.
yeah. But if you're using Restream like I am, what you are,
Mhm.
uh, go through the list and see what one makes you look happy. Like what one has a logo you're comfortable with. Because there's no other reason to choose one on the list and just set it up because you're allowed two streaming outlets for the free account.
Mhm.
So uh, yeah, and that's another reason why you would pay because you can set up all of them, right?
Yeah, I need to get back on Rumble more than.
Rumble's not on the list, so you might as well set up one of the others, right? Uh, yeah. So for those of you on Kick, our new friends over there, Fridays we tend to talk about our bi-monthly ish writing challenge, which is usually a short story and is fast becoming a short novel or novella. Uh, so usually every month and a half to 2 months. I think we're going to be doing them bi-monthly in the new year.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I would like to push to get something done every month,
yeah,
but we'll see how that goes because some of the things we're going to do in the coming year are going to be exercises on very, very specific goals
yeah,
to teach ourselves how to do very specific things as opposed
yeah.
to just bang out a short story in this genre.
Um, yeah, I've got to find different exercises that writing classes have to throw out because we are blind people walking through the forest in this. None of us are educated in the writing sphere. We're just so far going by the principle doing is the best way to learn, um,
Mhm.
which is generally the case with most things. So we are in the last week of what we were calling Naughty November because we were supposed to end in November, but the due date was extended because most people didn't finish. Technically, all people didn't finish, but yeah. So
Yeah, you came the closest, I think, but
yeah, and technically, I'm now done my first draft. The only reason why we're mostly stalling is because we're waiting for Raven, who also signed up to join uh, our Naughty November, and TCG at the last minute decided to become a spoiler. So I don't know if he's going to show up or not. They both have the link. Um, yeah. Oh. TCG just put his submission in the writing group links page on the
nice.
Discord. So I haven't looked at it yet. I just saw it pop up. So it's in there. That means he just has to pop in when he wants to pop in. Uh, the whole point of our good friend TCG joining uh, is solely so he could finish at least a 10 or 15 page story, a short story, before Raven gets into her third paragraph.
Well, I've already got the first
In
chapter done.
Yes, I saw that you popped something in. I mentioned that.
Nice, nice. I'll check that out
Nice.
after the show.
So will
It's
I.
good and dirty.
Sweet. Uh, the whole point is to for our good buddy TCG to join in, is so he could finish more than Raven did, because she's been a slacker. Uh, yeah, 6 weeks and 2 paragraphs. I'm sorry.
Though, admittedly, I kind of got a little inspired by Justin's thing. It's like the whole monster thing. It's like all of a sudden I got inspired for originally Monster High School. It's like, no, that's first off teenagers and beneath 18. I can move it to college.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like college. And first thing it says, right, of one of the first sentences, this is college. Everybody's of adult consenting or whatever. Oh yeah,
yeah,
everybody's consenting adults.
yeah, yeah. Um, really, they do have this category called dubious consent,
Yeah.
which is not rape, but really damn close to it.
Yeah,
Well, I would say this first chapter falls under that because the guy doesn't directly say no, but he does try to discourage her because they're in the middle of the classroom.
In the middle of the classroom.
Not while it's active, but still they're in the middle of the classroom. He doesn't want to get
oh
caught by
well,
the
shit.
professor.
That's a whole genre unto itself.
Yeah.
Especially if you add the words Asian and uniform. Just saying.
Well, the guy is in a pristine uniform.
Pristine uniform. Or you could do the age gap, right? The student teacher thing. That's
Well,
always
It gives
popular.
a whole new
What?
meaning to the phrase student body. Gotcha.
I've already got the idea for the school nurse to help him come down because he's in a monster school, but he's human. The reason why he's in a monster school is he's a berserker.
Okay. You're
So
going full anime, which is a
yes, I
thing.
did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did. And the school nurse winds him up at one point, getting him to berserk, and basically because he has a girlfriend, this is stated right in the first chapter, basically says, "All right, now that he's all wound up, we need to, since he doesn't have anything to fight, we need to fuck him down." So the school nurse and his girlfriend and him in a threesome. Well, he's raging
Good
out as a
man.
berserker.
Good man. More testosterone and sexuality than Shadow has. And he's got 4 nubile hot young women to have at least lesbian relations with, and there isn't one. He did not even. Shadow's getting the failure one way or the other, because there is not one fucking sex scene in his goddamn story. And on average, there should be one every 20 to 30 pages, depending on the length
What
of
are
your
you talking
story.
about? There's like 4 or 5.
I did not see one.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go.
There's
I want you to go back and tell me what page numbers to read.
there's the jail scene.
Okay, I did not get that far.
Okay. There's
I'll be
the
honest with you. I got kind of bored.
there's the jail scene. There's the carriage scene. There's the uh, different cell multiple times. There's the grassy field. So there's like 5.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go see. Maybe it's they had sex.
It's a little more than that.
Yeah.
I know. I don't. I'm not describing him. Maybe, well, no, she didn't take her shirt off. So technically, I didn't need to describe her nipples, but I'm not going
Well,
into great graphic detail of what
you
they
d-
look like in
d-
that part. I'll leave that up to the
you
imagination. But
you don't need to go into graphic detail of what things look like.
yeah,
You do have to do like
I went into graphic detail as to what they did.
yeah, okay, yeah. I was like, he sucked my nipple. was trying to think of something disgusting to
Is it
do.
January yet?
We got 11 more days. No, yeah, it's the 20th. 11 more days. Where the fuck is Raven? I sent her the link. I actually sent her the link first.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping she'd be here. I'd love to see her read what I wrote.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Should we establish a pointing system in the new year for like who's got the hottest novel or story? Who finished first? What one made Raven blush the most?
Well, only if we're in this particular genre. Otherwise, the other criteria.
I don't know.
Uh,
We could always manage to slip something kinky into a story just to make Raven read it
Oh yeah,
on
well,
the air.
most of my books have a love scene. I just don't go graphic detail. I could do that every once in a while.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think. Well, I don't know. Definitely in the first story, Stampede, not so much. It's too family oriented. Uh, I don't think there's. Oh yeah, there is one in Harvester of Sorrow. Nothing in the Storm. That would come later in the next book. And
Mhm.
what else did I do? I think that's it, right? We've only done 4 stories.
4 or 5,
Maybe
something like that.
something
We
like
did
that.
the
The
Space
mech
Western,
one.
mech, airships, horror. So this is the fifth one.
Yeah. Okay.
So four
Well,
out of
that
five.
would literally all but the mech book had a sex scene in it because I hadn't gotten to it yet. But the
No, hold
the
on a
last
second.
one we did, the scary one where I was doing a detective novel, that was going to have a sex scene in it. Well,
Yeah.
a fade to black moment technically, but
Yeah. I think that counts. And obviously, if you wrote that scene just to make Raven read it, you could cut it out if you ever chose to publish.
that is true.
Just switch over to the fade to black for the actual published version.
Yeah.
Just write it to fuck with Raven and no other
Yeah.
reason.
I also realize I have no problems with most genres in that particular area. Like for example, I have the very first one is about a hooker getting guy getting laid from a hooker. The next sex scene I wrote in was between two lovers. The next one I hadn't gotten to it yet, which was the last book, which
Yeah.
was going to be a sex scene between a much younger woman and a much older man, and she's
Yeah.
way turned on by him.
Yeah. Age gap, which is
Uh-huh. And this one
genre.
is this was going to be This one I'm working on is going to have multiple genres. I'm already working on the threesome and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, this sounds good. And did you switch the? No, I can just open it up.
Yeah, I
And
switched the page size, but I couldn't get. I don't know where to look for the thing where you make the page itself or the words stretch out to the edge of the page a little bit more because that's what I prefer.
oh, I got to.
Even well, of course, I don't write in my books, so I actually hate huge gaps of blank paper and books like that.
Okay, so generally, that half-inch gap or inch gap around the edge of the paper,
Yeah.
you want to leave that there. Uh, this isn't like I say do that not because uh, you need it for like writing, but it'll help you visualize the rough size it will be on the page if you choose to go ahead and print it.
Uh,
That's why I had Shadow move to the other page size. Also,
okay, well, I remembered what you said to get to the page size. It's like, oh, see your
yeah,
folders, page whatever, yeah, page whatever, and click. Oh, there they are. Okay, there. It's the right size.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd get the same reaction out of this one as you did with Mr. Scruffles. Though
Oh yeah,
I
Mr.
was very
Scruffles.
tempted on making a reference to Mr. Scruffles when they walk out, they see a teddy bear, they pick him up, and he says, "I love you." I was very
I
tempted on
love
doing
you.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an in joke. Uh, I think that's the most uh, intimate sex scene I've written. I wrote that for a lark. I thought about integrating that into a story, but the age of that character and situation would be dancing along the high school line too much,
Yeah.
and you know it got a little annoying trying to write that. Um, so I kind of scrapped that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll think of something and find a way to put it on like a
I should almost, what I should do just before Raven
Kindle
gets up
Limited.
here is actually
Yeah.
put that little scene with the teddy bear just to fuck with her when if she reads it.
Mm.
I love you. Oh God, that teddy bear.
I don't know. I don't think she was that angry about it. Just more like, a
Yeah,
few
fair.
months back. For those of you who have not seen, um, I had Raven read a scene on air. She didn't read it out loud, but we got to see the reaction of her blushing. Um, yeah, which was funny. Uh, where the hell is she?
That's a good question.
Yeah, she's ducking. On Wednesday, she was here before I was. Uh, Now nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. So,
Raven McMahon, Raven McMahon, Raven McMahon.
oh yeah. You're alive, right?
I think the little live tab is on the.
Yeah.
There's usually at least one person saying hi by now.
Yeah. Uh, uh yeah. It says we're live on YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
So, guys, what difficulties did you have writing these stories? This challenge.
Uh.
Initially coming up with a story because I didn't know what to write. It says I had the initial scene between the two, but what was the circumstances? What was going on besides just those two having sex? I got to have a story. And then
Okay.
Justin re-mentioned his book and it was like monsters. And then of course, like I said, I got the idea of Monster High. And it's like no, it's got to be Monster University.
I actually don't remember. I think I was just sitting there and it's like, well, what kind of characters do I want? And I was just like thinking, it'd be cool if I had like this bombshell socialite, uh, late teens, early 20s character, because I'm a red blooded man, and I like boobs and hot chicks and things like that. Um, and then I was like, okay, but if I'm gonna have that, I need some sort of contrasting character uh, to throw her against, and either it's like the bad boy that dominates her, or the nerd or something like that. And I went for the nerd because I thought that would be funnier. I think we were talking about Revenge of the Nerds back then,
Yes.
and I remembered that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I needed a location, and Raven was in the group. Those of you on Kick that don't know, she's into the Bigfoot woo woo side, and so is our buddy Shadow over here.
Not
Uh,
really.
yeah, well, compared to normal people, you're all down with that.
Well, down with debunking it.
Yeah, he loves Bigfoot. He's got a big Bigfoot dildo in his closet somewhere. It's well
Bigfoot's not
used and the
real.
paint's worn off. Um, so I was thinking paranormal. I was talking about Bagans or whatever the fuck that guy's name is with Raven, and the short ghost hunter guy. I think it was around the same time Red Leather Media put out those videos. I kept sharing what he does.
No idea what you're talking
Uh,
about.
what's that show? What's that show that they had on like Discovery or whatever, where they were like going into the mansions and the houses, the haunted houses, and they're
I
walking
hate
around.
those shows, so I have
Yeah,
no idea.
yeah, but like the guy that was that owned the big one of those ones. I was thinking of that guy, so I figured maybe our characters, our nerdy characters, would be fanboys of that kind of thing.
Very
Uh,
much like the episode of Supernatural, Hell House,
yes,
which is also
which is
created,
literally mocking those shows.
but it did have no. That was a different. Was that the same? I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
I think that's the episode where they play Blue Oyster Cult songs.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
They had a
So
great soundtrack on that show.
yes, up until the Leviathans, and then you can just check out.
Nah, I skimmed through those episodes, but
Did you
I,
watch the whole series?
yes, I actually crammed it after it ended because I never got into it while it was on the air. I tried to around season three, watch it, and then I got up to about season three. And I was like, yeah, I just don't really care. But then when it was over, I crammed the entire series,
It was really good
like
for a
back
good
to back.
long time,
Yeah,
and then
there
it
were
got
weak
broken.
seasons, but usually it picked back up in like a different kind of way.
Yeah, there was
Uh,
like what 13 seasons,
21,
21 seasons.
something like
I thought it
20,
was
21.
13.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Supernatural.
But yeah, the last like 2 or 3 seasons were just. I'm going to use the term god awful because they literally brought God
15.
into it. Okay,
15.
we were both wrong.
Yes.
Uh, it was just. It's just. I just wanted to find
I mean,
whoever was.
what at that point? What is the point of God? I mean, I know I say
I
I'm the
actually
first to
liked the
say
God
God.
storyline.
If we are made in the image of God, God can't be 100% perfect.
We
Otherwise,
are.
we would be.
God, the Jewish God is not our God
Fair, but
and
anyway,
was never meant to be.
yeah, and
Even his
but
redeeming son was not meant for our sins. It is not the white
eh,
man's sins that Jesus is here to redeem us for. It is the Jewish man's sins. It's
but
literally what he came for, but they couldn't get anyone in that cult to convert, so they just found someone else. We are
Uh,
the replacement part to the redeemed, but we didn't break any rules to be redeemed for.
I'm pretty sure we're guilty of breaking quite a few rules.
But not the ones that were. I don't remember any of our people uh, trading coins at the pagan altar. I do not remember the need to whip anyone for changing coins at the pagan altar. Not a one. We were out there frolicking with our wood spirits, being happy and all joyful, and building our massive, cool buildings and stuff, and having our great art and civilization. But no one was changing coins at the pagan altar. They probably were, but doesn't matter.
So for me, my biggest issue was once again
Also, Christmas is ours, not yours, you stupid Christian asshole.
um, going
Stealing
to.
our holiday. The pagan thing is actually fake. Sorry, Shadow. I keep interrupting you.
It's okay. My issue was once again going too epic. Uh, just not being able to uh, make it a short story. If that.
Uh,
yeah.
I do the same thing. It's okay. A novella, taking the time for a novella is fine. But like I keep telling you, you'll probably find it easier to pre-write a roadmap. I did that for the first half of my book, and I kind of gave up because I was getting bored, and then just started writing the scenes. And I shouldn't have done that because when I got to the point where I ended my roadmap, I hit a brick wall.
No,
And
I haven't had that problem. Every story that I've done, I've had that roadmap uh,
yeah, but
pretty
it's in
well
your
defined.
head, not on the paper.
Right. No,
Yeah.
sometimes I've done that because I know people are going to read, and I don't want them to.
It's okay, bro. Like we're in the writing group. There's
Yeah, I
no
don't want to
need for
spoil it.
mystery here. We're not the end audience.
Yeah.
If the people you are writing with do not get bored of your story and still push forward, you know that you have a bad idea and need to retool it.
Well,
Right? Like
uh,
that's one of the things that like
I don't know about
I've
that.
come across in my research of writing is that like a lot of writers think their story isn't working because they've lived in the story so long that it's not a new experience.
Yeah, I do have that problem. I did. I'm having that
You have to
problem.
push through that.
I had that problem with Harvester of Sorrow, but like for example, the Storm crafting hated it, but I think it's one of my better
Yeah,
stories.
I didn't
it,
say I hated it.
it's
It just
all
doesn't.
right to hate the story.
After a little while, you deviated from being part of my world and kind of went to your own. I liked the story. It's just the fact that it doesn't fit with
Right.
my world it does up to a certain point. Like I don't mind the zombie reference because there is a little bit of Cthulhu here and there spread
Mhm.
throughout my world. But once you started having the religious order and a few things like that, it's like, yeah, there is actually no direct religion except in many
Yeah,
pockets. Nothing this
yeah.
powerful.
That's
So it's like it's a cool story. I like the story. Don't get me wrong. It's just not set in my world.
right,
That's
right.
all.
Well,
Yeah.
the way you put it initially made me think uh, other things, but
I am sorry about that. I
no.
didn't mean to.
But uh, even with the only story I was able to really just like short story was Stampede, and that
Mm.
was what 60-90% ripped off from uh,
Uh,
that cartoon.
Sex, Love, and Robots,
Yeah. I couldn't remember the exact
which
name of
are
it.
all based on short stories by
Mhm.
sci-fi authors.
Mhm.
Uh,
Otherwise, I just want to keep going and add more and more and more, which is
it's okay. Um,
The short story format actually seems to be perfect for me because that's so far that's about a short story is about as far as I want to take a story. I mean, like
yeah,
for example, the skyships one. I only stopped when I did on that one because I hit a spot where it's like, am I really going to give the captain of my ship in his first story a Aragorn style undead army?
Aragorn. Yeah, I don't know. Like doing that can be kind of, especially in a short story, which you tend to want to, from what I understand, keep things more subdued.
mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
Right. But like even with I was thinking about it because someone compared my work to Lovecraft, and I'm like, not so much really. He's not even. He's
uh,
barely in my top five favorite authors. Every year he gets bumped down as opposed to bumped up. But I was thinking about his short stories. They're all connected in a way.
loosely,
So
yeah, yeah.
so maybe that is influencing. But like almost every story, uh, people have said, okay, I want to see book two or want to see more, and some of them will, if I continue with them, will at least be two books, uh,
Yeah.
maybe three. I don't know too many famous book series that are only two. They tend to either stop at three or go on to 10.
Well, I've been getting these ideas I've been toying with in the background, and like I've had this idea of doing my own sort of like sword and sorcery style series. Uh, and like I was talking with ChatGPT last night,
Oh yeah,
like
you do that too.
spitballing ideas, and like I asked it, well, what are the big tropes that are going on and popular now? And it gives me a list of those, and I go, I like this one. This one's kind of interesting. This one's hot garbage. I hate seeing that in stories. Doing that kind of thing, and
Yeah,
like, uh, how would it best be to structure this kind of theme into a book?
right back.
And then it gives me some ideas, and I pick through
Mhm.
them and sort through. So that's like one way to use AI for writing. Um, Also, like, uh, I have this idea for a character. Would these ideas like jive well? And it'll give me some long-winded technical explanation
Mhm.
on the psychology of these things, and then I'll be like, okay, I want a book like this, a book like this, and a book like this in a series, and it'll give me like a series outline for the characters. I have my main characters and like some background ideas, and also, well, what are the conflicts? Give me some ideas for conflicts that would fill out the storylines. So I might do like a 5 or 6 book series with like an ongoing arc between them,
Mhm.
and it's easy to have that interplay. Uh, I find it a lot faster. Obviously, it's going to put crap in there that you're not going to want, but it'll suggest things that might give you ideas, which is helpful. Instead of sitting at the screen staring for 4 hours until some inspiration hits you. Uh, you get those juices flowing faster, which is what a lot of people. I think a lot of people are afraid. Like there are two kinds of people that look at the world. People that look at other people doing the same thing as collaborators, and people that look at other people doing the same thing as competition. And I find that the people that don't like AI as a tool that can help you do things faster and smoother uh, are the kind of people that look at other people doing the same thing as competition, right? Like we joke here about like passing the grade for finishing one of these things, but I don't see Shadow as a rival to writing stories. I look at him as a
Right. That is
collaborator.
kind of a, yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
a especially knowing how people who read, people who love to read,
Yeah.
they just want more. There's never going to be a glut or too much to read.
Hmm.
What there's always going to be is not enough time to read. You
Yeah.
know,
And
and
honestly, if I put a book out on the market and you buy it and never get around to reading it, I'm okay with that.
yep. Yes, naughty November in December. Yes, nerdy. Welcome to the show, brother.
Well, now it's more like we've gone from 90 November into Dirty
Yeah, yeah,
December.
yeah, yeah. That's what he was getting at.
We will come to a screeching halt at the beginning of juicy January. So
God damn it! I want ultra juicy January.
I for one need a little break from this genre, just because it's
If everyone's
Well, now that we know it's actually a problem for you to write, Shadow, it'll probably become an annual
oh
thing. Once a year, you're gonna have to write one of these
no.
books.
Justin wants to do it like every month.
no,
Oh,
I just fuck with Shadow
Yeah.
by saying that. But yeah, we'll probably do something like this periodically, just for the
Yeah,
shits and
yeah, because I
giggles.
mean, I could bang out just freaking, nothing but sex scenes, but that's
That's pretty much what I did. I need to. That's the big problem with my story is I need to like put more coherence into the rest of what's going on.
oh, Oh, I've already got a few scenes in between sex scenes that'll lead up to
Yeah,
the
see, I'm
sex
the
scene.
exact opposite. I've got
I
more of the
have
opposite.
those. They're just incoherent.
Well, you just have to add some sort of hallucinogenic party favors, and it'll
Yeah,
all make sense to somebody.
yeah. Uh, so I quickly like so if you read the first chapter of my story, I have like the groups of people show up at the place and then their friends just kind of disappear and it's just the two characters because I don't really think I'm super competent enough to write six people running around the mansion at the same time. I'm gonna practice that, but
Yeah, I did have a little problem with because there's out of the four, there's two couples, and
yeah,
going back and forth. There were instances where like say it's nighttime, and the four characters have paired up, and they're both both pairs are getting busy, but there's no point to write both, to like rewind and then explain what the other couple was doing, because
no.
the one couple or another actually has some dialogue that furthers the story along and is important, whereas the other ones are just like, nothing better to do tonight, honey, let's knock
Scissor.
boots.
Yeah.
So,
Uh. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously,
and I
you don't
really
need to
don't
do
like
that.
having to try to figure out how to write. Meanwhile, or
No, no, do not do that. Do not do
right.
overlapping things unless it's like very rare or
Mhm.
or like the key event to some mystery or something.
Yeah, because
Uh,
how do just that starting sentence for that
yeah,
paragraph to let people know is going to come across like another thing I absolutely freaking hate, especially in TV, because that's really where I only see it, is
yeah. It only really works in television.
where they start the show uh, with, like 3 months ago, or they start the show and then they rewind it to explain why the shit's happening the way it
That
is.
that works better in novels. Doing the second one is like you show like an action scene and then it's like
Mhm.
the next the like it's the prologue or whatever,
And then you
or like
rewind.
yeah, and then you rewind. Um, which is it like a hook technique? Like it's literally designed to
Yeah,
hook
yeah,
you
it's
into
designed
like
it's
some.
designed to draw you in with the action, and then they realize, oh well, you probably want to know why this is happening, so let's go back. I fucking hate that. I just
Then don't do it. If you personally hate it, don't do it. Like it's not a
it,
requirement in any
yeah,
genre.
it just comes across as like gimmicky. I remember when I started
It is.
seeing that.
It's literally a hooking gimmick.
I remember seeing that. I don't remember what show, but I started seeing that, maybe 10 or 15 years
I
ago,
think 24 did that a lot.
and it just seemed
24.
like
I never
uh,
really watched 24, so
it comes across as like an afterthought as opposed to, a chronological. This is what happened. You could
oh,
easily write a hook at the beginning and then go into another hook and another hook.
I
Another
think
It's
one.
this
almost
is
word for word.
yeah. Oh, we got a similar message yesterday.
You mean Wednesday?
No, Wednesday. Sorry. Like this. Uh, someone trying to get money. Kick is kind of a wild west of moderation.
Hmm.
Like most platforms that aren't YouTube. So I'm just gonna ignore it. Um, if the platform over there gets too ridiculous in chat body stuff, I will just eventually switch to a different one. There's like 2 dozen options, so whatever. You were saying Shadow about hooks.
Yeah, it's just you could easily just write a cool opening like the opening for GoldenEye, where at the beginning of the first like 5 minutes, Bond's freaking driving off with a tank. That's freaking awesome, you
Yeah,
know. And then
yeah,
after that, do that again, right for a 5 minute stint or 20 minute stint, and then something awesome happens,
yeah.
you know, as
Well,
opposed to something awesome happens, and now we're going to rewind and for like 30 minutes of the episode and explain to why that thing happens, and then you're left with, well, okay,
yeah.
that awesome thing already happened in real time. Now what?
Well, usually you see it from a slightly different angle. Um,
Mhm.
uh, when
I
you
think it
see it
was the
initially.
blacklist that started first pissing me off or alerting me to
Yeah,
that thing, and I'm just like,
uh,
just
maybe they probably did too much too.
mhm.
Um,
And for some folks, especially like I could picture people being a little bit older than myself and less, hip to what's going on in the world, if you will, confusing the shit out of them, and them just like I don't know what's going on,
yeah.
uh,
uh, Obviously, if you're doing a 150 to 250 page book at like the letter page or A5 format,
yeah,
um, or somewhere in and around there, uh, trim size, sorry. Uh, Doing that, like that, the book isn't thick enough. But if you're
right.
doing like a 500-page book, maybe it's that kind of hook in there. You can
Mhm.
easily replace that with a bar fight scene or something stupid like that.
Yeah, and you could
Uh,
always, I mean, since all the way back to Tolkien in regards to fantasy, you could always write a freaking prequel, you know?
uh, well, yeah, well, obviously you want that in the book because you're trying to sell that book.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing is. I picked the book up off the shelf and I skimmed through the first couple of pages to see if there's anything worth there to
And
read.
don't rewrite this Silmarillion. Just fucking
Yeah,
don't.
well, no, that was literally his world Bible that was published, right? Like, if you want to write a world Bible like that, so you know where things are going and what the meaning of stuff is when you write it down, do so. Just don't
Yeah,
put it
just
in the
don't lead
book.
with that. Don't lead with that.
Yeah,
Wait until you've sold like half a dozen books, and then you
and
can just like do that recap episode that every show does
well,
with your world Bible.
yeah, well, sometimes when you get super famous, the fans are like, "What's the world Bible like?" And you still, most authors keep that in. It's like your internal Wikipedia, right? Like you put it on paper so you don't forget it, but you don't put it in the pages because it's not relevant to the story.
And it'll always come across as dry and boring and
It
info dumpy, and most
it
people.
always does, and people publish shit with it in there, and it's always crappy writing.
Yeah. Take a page from Robert E. Howard. If you're going to do that, do like a paragraph at the beginning of each chapter or each story, and people will love it. The little bit of mystery, the before and the after, or around that, and then you drop the character into the scene.
And still, that's even out of favor these days. Doing that stuff, just like uh, you know who the seventh king of the Tolmac Empire was, but if that was like 400 years ago in timeline to your story, the reader doesn't need to fucking know that,
What about
right?
like I did with the Storm, where like a lot of people like Stephen King would give you like a lyric from a song, like a line as a precursor to the story.
Well, like he did that a lot in the Stand as like the
Mhm.
chapter title or something like that. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, do that kind of shit. If it's flavor and relevant to the events in that chapter, right? Like
Right.
if it's setting the tone for, because usually the song lyric would be describing some sort of action that would later happen in that chapter.
Right.
Um, so you get a little foreshadowing or whatever.
Yeah, because I could see that seeing as how there hasn't been any good music written in that kind of vein in a long time. You know, the power ballads and the any kind of ballad whatsoever just is almost non-existent these days. It. I'm not going to go too much into that, but once upon a time, that's all you got. You got great music with lyrics that actually told you a story, and therefore you can pull from that, especially if you are familiar with the said song. You also get a little blast of the actual music. You can almost hear the music playing in your head, not necessarily
Yeah,
them singing, but specific riffs and things like that that I find uh, very enjoyable, especially if I'm a big fan of whatever
yeah.
band or their reference.
I have a question
You
for you, Shadow. Have you heard of Windrose?
no,
Windrose.
They are a much more modern band that I would say captures the old style feel while still doing a modern twist. They're mostly do dwarven music though, and they do tell a story with
Yeah,
their music. It
yeah,
is always a
I've
dwarven
been
story
wanting
though.
to check out a lot of that stuff, but a lot of it
Let's
that I
see
have checked
here.
out
I
seems
do have it up here.
uh,
No, okay.
like 60% riding on the coattails of someone or something else, or even just an
yeah,
entire genre or era of music, and it right off the bat comes off as cheesy to me. Even some of the better like Warhammer music I've heard, I'm like, yeah, but it's like, would if they had to write something that had nothing to do with someone else's work, would they be able to?
yeah. It's like the Proto Men. Have you ever heard the Proto Men? No. They're really good, but they theme like every album after oh, Mega Man. Proto Man is the actual name from Japan.
Gotcha.
Um, you know Mega Man though, right? The blue
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
with the gun arm.
Little blue guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like all their albums are themed after the like the events in the games.
Mm. Okay.
Um,
I just put a link to a playlist of official Windrose
yeah,
videos, so music
yeah.
videos.
In the group chat.
Yeah, the reckless rants since that doesn't really belong in the book section.
Yeah. Well, that's what the reckless rants or chat is for things that we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I'd recommend looking for uh, what was it, the Proto Men? Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I'm not real familiar with the
Neither
game.
neither am I, but
Oh, okay.
the music is
Okay.
like you'll pick up the story from the music if you pay attention.
Okay.
It is well written
Yeah, because
and
I've
performed.
always had a problem with the even the genres of music I like. If there isn't some sort of,
Story.
yeah, or at least part of one.
Uh,
One of my favorite songs. It's just part of a story, uh,
uh,
and it lets your imagination run wild. Uh, what's going to happen when the song is over.
what song is
Versus
it?
that's called "Distant Love" by Golden Earring. It's just this guy and this girl, and they're having their issues, and it leaves you wondering. You could go Lady or the Tiger, and
Yeah.
it's
So,
just one of those songs that comes to mind when I think about that. That's not uh, like for example, Bloister Cult did a song called Black Blade, with it's about Elric and Stormbringer, and
yeah,
it doesn't really. It just
it
it's
gives you a
more like
sense.
yeah, it's not telling you any specific events, just getting you in the mood for that that series of books, if you will, or an homage to that series of
Which is
books.
fine.
Because
Yeah.
at least it's not it's a little
It's,
corny.
it's,
I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, yeah.
but
Um,
at least it's got something in it that's not some of the themes that music these days seems to have. That's it's all about pumping oneself up, self-aggrandizement. Yeah, just like how awesome I am because I've got all this bling and look at my car and you know sucks to be you kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, I don't need that. I mean, does that really help people and encourage them to be better or?
well, honestly, I think that's why people like Taylor Swift so much. Is she doesn't do songs like that.
Hmm,
For the most part, I think maybe she might have one or two that are like 22, which is like her being excited for turning 22 or whatever. Uh,
gotcha.
like the time of her life kind of thing. But which is a good song nonetheless. But
I think the Eagles have a similar song. I think it's called 21.
mhm,
I think, or maybe that's just a line from it. But yeah, yeah. I mean, especially when you're in, because I was in many bands. There is a lot of temptation to to make music about that because it is such a different lifestyle from the average person.
mhm,
But it turns out most people never get around to being like that. So I guess they live vicariously through songs like that to help them
mhm.
imagine what it would be like to be rich and famous. And
I don't know. I think the best song about that was done by uh, Weird Al.
Weird Al. Well, Weird Al's always got the better song. Uh,
I pay people to chew my food. This is the life.
uh, okay, so
I was thinking we talk a little bit about what we're going to do in the coming year
yeah, okay, so
because we're going to miss a couple of shows because
uh,
of at least Christmas, which is
Christmas,
next
yeah,
week.
yeah.
Uh,
So the schedule for the next couple of weeks is if you guys want to show up on Monday, I'm cool. If nobody wants to show up, I'll cancel because it's
I'll
the
definitely be here
23rd.
Mondays. Mondays,
Yeah, it's the 23rd.
yeah.
Uh, no on Wednesday unless there's a pre
Oh no. We'll be here Monday because Jackie will be home.
no, Wednesday.
Oh yeah,
Wednesday.
Wednesday is
Wednesday's
Christmas
the
Day.
25th. Uh, we're scheduled as no, but maybe something will pop up. I don't.
If anything, I could see us hanging out with Connell Wednesday night.
Sorry,
Right?
my fire alarm is. They're doing a test, so I keep.
No, but I mean, Connell's always
Yeah,
anxious to do one of those, we don't
yeah,
get to hang out with him enough. So uh, one of us, if not all three of us, should tell him, "Hey, Connell,
yeah,
uh, Christmas Day,
yeah,
Christmas Eve, because
yeah.
uh,
That's the Thursday or the Tuesday.
yeah,
Christmas Eve comes before,
yeah.
not after.
Christmas Eve is just I won't be online almost at all. If I am, it's just to listen to silly YouTube videos. Which I got to admit, I started listening to Lord Fowlsbane on audiobook, and I'm actually going to try and do more of that and read or listen to more stuff like that in the new year instead of the doom scrolling or listening to the same news story you know 5-10 times in a day. I got better things to do with my time, or at least I'm going to try to make that a thing. But
Well,
uh,
hopefully.
not necessarily write anything down in stone, nerdy, janky January. But I was hoping we could come up with like a short list of at least maybe 6 genre or prompt ideas for the coming year, or things we'd
Well,
like to write about.
every time I go to say something, that starts again.
It's not that bad, and I got headphones on.
Crafting. Is there anything particular you'd like to write about this coming year?
Ooh. Hmm. Actually, believe it or not, I think I might want to go back to the Wild Texas story, or
This- this- this-
the weird West
okay.
story. Sorry, because I got a few ideas for the sequel to Blades Glint.
I'd love to have more stories for the anthology, so I'm all hella okay with that. Uh,
So so I was thinking we would do a sword and sorcery.
yep, I can't wait to do one of those now.
So
Isn't it weird, guys, how we like go in and out of moods when it comes to what we're writing about or even gaming? Uh, in wanting to do something that a few months ago would have freaking driven us up a wall to be involved in, and then suddenly it's
Yeah.
like, favorite food, you eat too much of it and you get sick of it, then you go without it, and then it's like, oh man, I can't wait to have chocolate ice cream again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you'd asked me a while back, well, we're going to do sword and sorcery. Back like when we started, it's like I don't want to do that, man. I just not in the mood for that. And now I'm like, yeah, I want to do that like soon. I
so
wonder if it's a weather thing. Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever.
I think we're steeped in it with the book club, but maybe. Um,
No, I mean the weather, affecting what you want to
Mood,
write or
yeah,
read about,
could
or
be.
Well, the weather has been scientifically proven to affect your mood
Yeah.
to a degree.
Um,
So
because like when it gets hot, I think Western. When it gets cold and rainy, I think either sword and
sci-fi,
sorcery or like
sci-fi.
film noir or
Oh,
detective stories, Sherlock Holmes, or Sam Diamond, or
okay, okay.
Phil Marlowe. That kind of
Phil
it's
Marlowe.
raining and you know
N- Another thing you should avoid starting with. It's not an absolute, but the weather. It's dark and stormy night.
hey, I did that with my first story, and I don't think
Yeah.
anybody caught on.
Oh,
You
I did. But you can always like it's a first draft, and like a good time frame for like starting your story. Like I sat down and started writing, not planning things. To final draft is usually 5 months. Is what a good author does.
Well, I
Um,
absolutely wanted a gunfight in the rain for that story.
yeah.
Just it had to happen. Had to happen because there aren't that many westerns with that. If you think about it, there really aren't that many gunfights in the rain that I'm familiar with.
Oh, the fire marshal said, "Thank you. Have a great day." So that should be the end of the test.
Nice
Uh,
and nerdy. We don't have to go with the alliteration for every month, but if it's
yeah. Oh,
you
that was just a joke. But uh, gold star to anyone who can think of all 12 months for the erotica thing. That way, I can really fuck with Shadow every month. We'll be like, it's meaty March or musty March. I can't think of anything.
yeah.
no, manly march, just to really
no,
fuck with
no,
Shadow.
no, no. I am not participating in Manly March. Shadow, that's his specialty.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen
He
ever.
knows
No.
everything about Manly March.
Yeah.
I kid. I kid.
Yeah, you kid.
Um. Yeah. So definitely we'll hit we'll hit Space Western again. We'll hit
Sword and sorcery.
Sword and Sorcery. Maybe we could do a song a month where it's find a story song you like and turn it into a novel. Because that
Musical
was mentioned.
march.
Yeah, we're not doing anal April, okay? Well, Shadow is, but he
No,
does
no,
anal
no
every
one's
month,
doing that.
so
Uh,
it doesn't count.
what do you guys think about doing a film noir, a detective uh,
Uh,
story.
yeah.
I already started working on one, so
Another one?
oh no, my the one I hadn't
Yeah,
finished.
yeah. Definitely come back to it.
Mhm.
Um, also, uh, maybe we could do the second draft periodically. Like I have no problem if you're bowing out on a topic, but you're working on a second draft for a previous one. Uh, obviously, if you're serious about a thing, I'm gonna try and do two or three drafts for the current story and put it out under a pen name. I'm gonna get the continuity stuff knocked out of it, and then I would really appreciate if you guys went through and put notes in for things that you think are broken. Obviously, I've put notes in for every chapter of general
Yeah,
stuff that I
I
think is
I try, but without a read out loud system, it's very hard for me to actually
yes,
read and for it to make
and it
sense.
is really annoying for Google Docs because it doesn't really interact with any of those types of programs that I've looked at.
Yeah.
Uh, but obviously you can like uh
Sorry, as
yeah,
Baby's
I
comment.
know.
No, dear God, no.
There's some teen angst stuff going on there. Uh first love, self pleasure, lesbian self pleasure. You should know a lot about writing fingering scenes, Shadow. You're writing a lesbian story
Yeah. Um,
because he's too afraid to write about dicks entering vaginas.
I'm just not fond of writing about dicks.
That
I
that
don't care
is a
what they're
full
doing.
that is a full faced fucking lie. We know
Oh,
you make all your money filming dicks, sword fight contests, manly sword fight contests,
it's so
and then
fucking foul.
butthole penetrations.
How does your brain even
You
just bypass all
you
the
can't
social norms?
you can't forget the javelin
Yeah,
I don't even
contest.
yeah,
want to know,
yeah.
dude. I don't even want to know.
Uh,
Not javelin, but
yeah, yeah.
lance. Crap.
You practiced. You invented the genre of docking films.
I was just gonna. Oh man, moving right along. What about
Never,
a?
never, you motherfucker, never. Vengeance will be mine 1 billion times fold.
I stab at the.
I stab at thee. Is the title of one of your films, isn't it? And it's just a big censored bar coming out of a guy's crotch. He's wearing armor.
Since I was having trouble with uh, the the scene in my latest story about the alien landscape, I was thinking about a exploring a new world, sci-fi.
Okay, like maybe uh boldly go frontiers,
However
maybe
you want
maybe a
to
first
approach
contact
it,
kind of
whether
thing.
it's Star Trekian or a little more down to earth, a little more nuts and bolts.
Yeah, maybe like an alien.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very much like when they land and find the eggs, or finding ancient ruins. I really want to do one with humanity discovering ancient ruins, whether it be like Total Recall or something along those lines. Kind
Yeah,
of like when you were writing about the airship with the ancient ruins. I was like, yeah, I want to know more about this.
yeah. That's a story I wouldn't mind going back to. Is there any month that we can pun off with the word revisit or some synonym of it? Uh,
Oh,
Nerdy, you're our expert with this. We need some
no,
synonym
no,
for
nerdy. No, you're not going to get yourself banned. You're just you're just outing yourself a little, man. You freak.
Yeah.
Uh,
What?
you could someone could thesaurus.
I got a good
What?
one. It could be a double entendre. Sloppy September or sloppy second September. Bleh.
I hate you guys.
No, I was
Yeah,
actually thinking
gum. Um,
second September. You know, where when you go back to visit a story.
Yeah.
Second
that's
September.
a ways off, but
Yeah.
maybe I don't.
I know,
But
but it's the best
no,
I
no,
could
it's
think
not.
of. I'm not that familiar with
It's
the
not
months.
bad, but we may want to hit that sooner because
Yeah.
September is like what
That's fair.
the ninth month.
Yeah.
So I think the sooner we do go back to our old stories and make it an official point to do so, the better.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's been I don't know how many months since I did my very first story, and I'm like, oh my gosh, do I even remember? I mean, I did.
Moaning May. Yeah, okay.
He's just got a list now. He just wrote every
Yeah.
month out, and he's just going. He wants that gold star, man.
Yeah.
I'm betting
I-
he's going to fill it out by the end of the episode today.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You got 44 minutes or 54 minutes, and then
Orgasmic October. You got
yeah. Yeah. I want you to, once you've got them all done, write them all in the 12-month order and post it as one comment numbered. That way I can just go down and yeah, he's got something for each month without having to actually look at it. I don't need that much corruption in my brain at once.
so. How about you, Justin? Anything other than sword and sorcery that you've been itching to write about?
I want to get back to that mech story as well.
Okay.
Because I never actually finished that one. I got an F on that.
Okay.
I think I was really close to the end too. And then polish up it because there's like nothing going on in the story besides we go here, someone dies. We go here, someone dies. We go here, someone dies. Yeah. But besides that, you know, rehitting the space western, doing some sci-fi, doing the sword and sorcery, trying to get more done. I really want to get like stuff finished.
Mhm.
So it's getting more done in less time, so I can focus on second drafts of things I want to actually finish. I want to in the new year. I want to try and get 3 pieces of mediocre content on the market
Okay.
for myself. Um, I don't know about jerking June. I don't think you can get much out of self pleasure there, nerdy, for a story.
Yeah.
But maybe if it's just for the alliteration. uh, and if we're
Well, there
doing
really is
exercises
no
as well.
B month, so
What?
there's no B month.
B month? Yeah. What, boobs?
No.
What?
I think it was the first rabbit hole we sent Raven down.
BJ, I
No,
would presume.
No. I think that the first one was the. I don't remember what the first one was.
it starts with a B. It's
Yeah.
usually multiple people with one recipient. Moving on.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
oops.
that one.
spacing. I've totally I've got a brick wall. I've got a degeneracy block. Oh,
Bukaki.
Bukaki. Yeah. Yeah. I guess.
No, just
Uh,
no.
Japanese July.
Well, that covers a lot of genres right there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to start.
I mean, we go into potential incest in that
Yeah,
area.
no.
Yeah,
We're hard past that.
you're gonna have to actually start going instead of months, days of the week. For Tentacle Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay, so
But
there there
I really want to try my hand at something very Blade Runner ish.
so yeah, cyberpunk, definitely a hard cyberpunk in for. So cyberpunk September, it's a nice cold time of the year. That's
You get the rain, you get the chasing of on rooftops or through dark alleys, the
yeah.
the crowds of people with umbrellas and
Yeah.
the protagonist chasing down his quarry, making it difficult because everybody's wearing jackets or raincoats and umbrellas. Um, that
Obviously, as we go through, uh, Shadow, later write these all down. Create a list like I did for
I'll just do
the
that right now. I did bring a card.
okay,
Um,
but like put it somewhere public where we can all look at it, like all the topics, and then like not tie any of them to a specific month, but we'll just kind of
right,
like pick one of them. Uh, we really don't do the prompt thing here. We just do a genre pull. Uh, Prompts are usually more abstract, right? Uh,
Yeah. I think the closest thing we ever did to a prompt was me saying floating island
yeah.
stories.
or
Uh,
sci-fi western. That was,
no,
it
that's
was
a genre.
yeah, yeah,
Not no, like you'd be like 6 iron
yeah.
would be a prompt, not
Gotcha.
yeah. There are prompt generators. You can go on Google and type in writing prompt generator, and you'll see the kind of like abstract things that they'll give
So I
you to
got
write.
sci-fi western, sword and sorcery, cyberpunk slash film noir. There was another one I could have swore. Uh,
Uh, Sword and sorcery, cyberpunk, western, just normal mech,
Yeah,
mech,
mech.
more mech, so more sci-fi. Um, Another mystery. Put mystery like general mystery. Obviously, you can combine that with the cyberpunk,
right,
but it'll give you options to like do two
right,
cyberpunks if
because
you want to,
you
or
could literally write a cyberpunk that's not a mystery.
yeah. I haven't seen one that I can think of.
Yeah.
Can you think of a cyberpunk story that's not a mystery? It's usually noir is like the core.
Would
Like
Akira count?
if they're trying to figure out who the fuck Akira is.
Oh, okay. It's been
Like
so long.
for the whole point of it is like what the fuck is Akira? Who the hell is what the hell is happening to Akira? Because Akira's the guy's name, right?
What do
Uh,
you guys think about a oh god, dear God. Fuck. I'm gonna have to like put a piece of paper over the chat section because every time I look, I see something worse than the
And what September? Sep- sep-
speculum.
sep- I have no idea what that is. That's probably why I can't pronounce it.
It's very close to his original April suggestion.
yeah.
What do you guys think
Uh,
about doing like a uh, sword and sorcery, but no sword, like a Harry Potter-ish?
that wouldn't be sword and sorcery because sword and sorcery is specifically low
Right. No,
Yeah.
magic.
no, but like Harry Potter or what the
Oh,
frick
so
is that?
just general fantasy.
Well, focusing on
Uh,
sorcery. What's the Jim Butcher series called?
Dresden
Dresden
Files.
Files.
I
Thank you, thank you.
I already have an idea for mage's school that also is a giant city. So like majority of the world's mages in this story live in I think it was supposed to be 2 miles by 2 miles floating city in the middle of the ocean.
I've got
Well,
one of those,
yeah,
one of my worlds. But
yeah.
yeah, I was thinking just to,
Well, it's a pretty common
I know
idea,
that
and it
world.
is a good one too.
yeah, just to see how each of us handles the dark arts, if you will,
Okay,
uh,
so like
blown
just a
out of
general
proportion.
sorcery series. Now, do you want to do like a general sorcery or an urban fantasy?
I was honestly thinking uh,
Oh,
general fantasy,
okay.
but we haven't really done anything that's earth based.
Well,
So,
if it's well urban fantasy, well the mystery stories for us were Earth based for TCG and myself.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yours,
mine was definitely not earth. Well,
yeah,
that was slasher, the slasher month, right?
yeah, the
Yeah,
horror.
I went with a fantasy version or sci-fi
That's
western horror.
yeah.
Um,
But I like that you stepped out of your weird sci-fi western comfort zone for this story and wrote something slightly different. But yeah, maybe we could
because I
definitely do an urban like a real world story. Obviously, there's more things on this list than we're going to get to in the next year, so we can just uh
well, I've got
l-
7 now.
yeah,
Uh,
and I doubt we're going to get to that many if we're doing exercises as well and doing like. Are we going to go back? Does anyone have anything they want to
well,
go
actually,
back to? Is the first thing I'll ask, and then we'll do that, and
I
then
actually it's 6 because I have mystery as part of the film noir cyberpunk. If we stop here at 6,
yeah. Well,
that's
it's okay if we
technically
have more things to pick from than times to pick for the next year because
right, right.
they can always
Well,
roll over to the next.
if we stop at 6, that means we could get one out every other month, and have roughly a month or 2 to 3 weeks of actual exercises in between. And maybe
Yeah,
if we use this list, then we can also uh, sort of try to make the exercises fit.
yeah. Well, also like the time in between is spillover. Like we had this
Mhm.
running group, right? Like so, at the end of the 4 weeks, we'll be like, who finished? Do we want to do an extra
Week or two,
week
or
or
do we want
two?
to, or do we want to start in on the homework, the exercises,
Yeah,
and if we can gear the exercises to coincide with the most difficult aspect of whatever the genre might be, you, you
yeah.
know,
Um, definitely.
whether it's dialogue or descriptions or plot or what have you, uh, make the punishment fit the crime, so to speak.
Um, if you guys wouldn't mind scouring the webs in your off time looking for different lesson ideas,
uh,
or if you can think of any like you just did dialogue or and also like criterias to checklist
Yeah.
those things against,
mhm.
that way
Or in
we
lieu of
we
that, you know, uh, make a list of our shortcomings, the things that we're having trouble with. Then
yeah,
because some of us will have those things that overlap from time to time, or at least we might feel that way. It's like, gosh, I'm having trouble with dialogue. I
yeah,
never have that problem, but for example, say someone is, what's a genre or prompt or whatever that's going to be dialogue heavy,
yeah.
or at
Well,
least at least
there isn't. It is recommended, I think, that you have what was the number? It's like 7 or 15 per 1,000 words, like dialogue sections.
mhm,
Right? Like dialogue is just points when somebody says something instead of it being written in prose,
mhm.
and it's something like that, like 7 or 15 or something per every 1,000 words. But obviously, if you need more for what's going on or need less for what's going on, you do so. But the general rule of thumb is it's somewhere in there.
Yeah, I know for a fact I exceed that by a lot.
You would think, but go back and count. Like the actual, there is a tool in Google under Google Docs under tools, right at the top. It says the like files, edit, view. Right, there's one tool, and then you scroll down the list. Is it? It's the second thing on the list, and it says word count, and you click on it, and it brings up a little box, and it'll tell you how many pages your document is, how many words there are, how many characters there are, how many characters excluding spaces there are, and there's a checkbox, so it'll stay in the corner as a smaller thing that you can
Really?
then switch through, and if you highlight a section of your text, that list will update to only show the things highlighted instead of the whole document. So like right now I've got TCG's thing open, and it's 4 pages, 651 words, 3,816 characters with spaces, and three thousand eight
Oh,
hundred and sixteen characters.
when you said characters, I'm like,
Oh,
Like the characters, each individual letter,
right. I
number,
didn't,
and space,
I didn't
and like
proceed
period
with
and
my work.
whatnot. That's the technical term
Mhm.
in writing what that is.
No worries, Raven.
Yeah. We're still on the topic, so uh,
Which
the second you can get in here,
yeah, maybe I can actually get her to read my book.
well, skim through it.
Yeah, skim through. Well, it's only one chapter so
Yeah.
far, so it's not like there's not much reading.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess the short stories you don't really have to worry about chapters, bro. Just do
I know, but
scenes,
it-
you know. Um,
I know, but it makes me feel like I'm a real writer, if that
yeah,
makes sense.
that's the thing you must remember. Scenes are part of frameworking, storytelling.
Yeah.
Chapters are subjective. They're there to help the reader know when, like, this is
that
one
there's
of
a
the things
transition coming.
that there's a transition to come in. Maybe there isn't. Um, but it is a good psychological trick, especially in mysteries and suspense writing. From what I understand, is like you have short chapters, so the reader is like, "Oh, the next chapter is only like 13 pages or 14 pages. I'll just cram it out." And then they get to the next one. Oh, the next chapter is only 15 pages. I'll just read it. And then they get to the next one. Oh, the next chapter is only like 8 pages. I'll just read it. Next thing they know, they're done the book. And because they finished the book in like one or two sittings, they feel very happy about that and are more inclined to buy your next book because they had a good experience finishing your previous book.
Yeah.
So if you're ever thinking that way, psychological fuckery with your reader, but you don't got to worry about that until you're into your second.
Writing 200, 300
Yeah,
page
well,
books.
yeah, that, and you're into your second or third draft or whatever, and
Yeah.
you're trying to tighten things and fill in gaps and make things not an incoherent mess, which is perfectly fine for your first draft, right?
Yeah. Well, I try very hard to make it as good as I can the first time because I don't like going back and doing things a second time if I don't have
Well,
to.
in this line of work, bro, that cannot be helped unless you want to be the guy that wrote
Uh,
Moonpool.
I knew you were going to say that.
oh dear God.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Nice, nice,
uh,
nice.
That had so much potential, but then it was just drag on for 5 hours and other issues that
yeah.
it had.
Um,
I swear, half that book did not need to exist.
it could have been edited down, uh, tightened up. Definitely could have gotten it. What was it like? 500 pages, or no, it wasn't that big. It was like 300 pages. I'd have to go. I'd have to open up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd have
I've
to.
been wondering.
Oh,
I wanted to ask you guys. Uh, I've
room
noticed that
pool.
there's a lot of books that are in the 500 to 700 page count. Why? Do you think
That
that
is typical for the modern uh
market?
publishing standard. Yeah, the market sees that, but obviously, if we're self-publishing, that shit doesn't matter.
Right, because
Um,
I keep going back to Amber. It was a 5 book series, and only one of them, I think, maybe two, went over the like 250 count.
it's a 10 book series.
Well, the first five, and then the
Yeah,
second five.
yeah. Okay,
You
yeah.
could literally skip the second five and not be any worse off.
I
For
put them on the list just because they're
it,
there.
it, it, it was. I think I like that one the best.
What
Nerdy
one?
Jacuzzi July.
Jacuzzi July.
I've got a lot of
Yeah.
fond jacuzzi memories.
You do
Out
not
with
want
the
to
thing.
see this in even shorts, let alone a speedo.
No, I just like
No, no,
jacuzzi.
no,
I've got a
bro.
back issue, and
J-
uh,
j- you're
they're like
naked in the
freaking.
jacuzzi.
Uh,
You don't wear swim clothes in the jacuzzi. Well, if you're with hot chicks,
yeah,
there are rules for hot chicks and jacuzzis. That is nudity always, and make sure it's clean because you don't want flesh eating diseases.
you're right.
Yeah,
So fucking foul.
and it does not
That,
take
that
it
that's
does not
what
take much. You got to clean it after every time you use it because
I was say that's why I just every time you use it, just pour in a gallon of bleach and then let it run and then keep the whole thing out and then do it refill it.
Yeah.
well,
So
yeah, just
so
empty
back to
it.
the 500 to 700 page freaking omnibuses.
No, and that you got to be an omnibus is multiple books,
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know. But okay, phone
novels,
books. Phone books. Why would you
5 to 750 page novels, and I tell you, like that's a pretty average length for a Jim Butcher book.
Mhm.
That's the shorter end of that. The Harry Potter books get up to that. I think the last one was like 1,200 pages or some shit like that.
Yeah, it was like the biggest of the series.
Yeah.
I know that.
Like
Because
that's actually pretty normal in post 80s fantasy
right, because
specifically.
going back to Amber, the first 5 books were all
200
190 to 200 page books, but then
two
the
to three
second
hundred page
series,
books.
uh, seemed to be much thicker.
Okay, so the cost in printing went down. The understanding that you could get a better story with more time to breathe,
Hmm.
and publisher demands for like something more impressive on the shelf led to a lot of that. And then also you got like fantasy and sci-fi writers tend to be long-winded to begin with because there's more to explain.
Okay.
And with the ability to fill in that space with texture, um, helps create a memorable world. So like there's that, but those actual page numbers are coming down. The, with the recent publishing uh, uh, crunches in old school publishing, but also because we're only thinking self publishing here.
Mhm.
Being able to crank out a 200-page book is a lot easier than pump out a 500-page book generally.
Or 750, which is like three novellas. crammed
Well,
into.
no, a novella is between 100 and 120 pages.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
think so, something like that. Um, but like a short, like a normal, like a novel starts at generally 200 pages. At I think it's 150 words per page or something like that. It doesn't really matter. These numbers are very subjective, right? They're very subjective industry numbers because
Okay.
it's relative to like what company you were publishing with in
Okay,
the
okay.
old days. And
I kind of vote for this one, Jiggly June.
Jiggly June sounds like we might have a lot of like fat people going around,
Yeah.
but
I first
it,
thought of Jiggly as
but
Big
It's
it
the
could
Boobs.
Jiggly
also
Hut.
be big boobs.
The Jiggly Hut. Come on.
Yeah, I am a big fan of big boobs. I like small ones too, but there's just something hypnotic about
Hey, you're a guy. Big boobs are better, but all boobs are
all
good.
boobs are good. All
No,
boobs are
no,
good,
no, 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 no. I'm going to crush that right here and now.
except for fat boobs.
No, they all.
There's a
Boobs don't count. Boobs don't count.
boobs. Okay,
Man
man
boobs.
boobs don't count, but fat boobs. I do not like fat boobs. There's a
Okay,
big
fair.
difference between big boobs and fat boobs.
Yeah,
Big boobs are
I've
glorious.
always
Yeah.
lived
Fat
by
boobs
the
are
adage.
fucking
Uh,
terrible.
I've always lived by the adage.
Okay, yeah, you got a point
Big
there.
boobs only get bigger.
No, big boobs sink, but if you wear the right bra, it's not
Well,
as bad.
that there's a surgery that I recommend big boob women get because women with big boobs have back problems, but it's not the size of the boobs; it is the sway of the boob, right? The hang. So instead of getting them reduced, because a lot of women do this, and this is a sin, this is always a sin, you get them lifted. They look perkier, they're rounder, they hang higher, which is always good, and they don't bother your back as much. And us men, we will thank you for it.
Yeah.
I know a lot about the mechanics of boobs, bro.
This. Oh God.
You're like, why do you know this much about boobs?
No, no.
And my
I was
question
going
to
to turn
you is,
this.
why do you not know this much about boobs?
No, I was going to turn this into one of those. The more you know, service.
Yeah.
Messages.
Oh, yeah.
But I just
Uh,
couldn't. I just couldn't word it
the
quick
more
enough.
you know stuff, like Shadow said, he doesn't know anything about boobs because he prefers the twigs and berries
No, he does not.
instead of the beach balls.
I'm definitely more of a leg man, but uh,
Well, good legs are good legs. I like to be between them.
yes,
Yeah, man, we got really perverted, man.
yeah, yeah. But we did get uh, a lot of the writing club
Raven's like
stuff.
Raven's like this right now.
Yeah, she's not having computer tech issues. She's just having to throw up multiple times this morning, and she hasn't even
Yeah,
had her first bottle of
bourbon.
alcohol.
Yeah. Oh, bottle case.
Okay,
Case.
let's agree to disagree and meet in the middle. Box.
She did ask if they served bourbon in boxes the other day. Oh, oh,
See, I've never had bourbon.
it's
I
okay.
have. It's all right.
It's better in egg and cream mixtures.
Yeah, that's gonna be the name
Eggnog.
of a band in my film noir. It's gonna be Box Bourbon, live in concert.
I got boxed bourbon
You know,
tickets. And then he can't go to the concert because he's like tied up by the bad guys at the end.
purposely limiting my metallic selections by making it like I said before, I'm using metallics to make a
Oh,
non-metallic look, which looks more like color shifting metallics, which is cool. But limiting my metallics makes me feel like I'm not putting enough color on it. But I also have to remember this is a painting contest, not personal. It should not be rainbow of metal,
okay.
which is what I
Another
usually
another
do.
band.
Rainbow of Metal is a
Rainbow
great
of
band
metal.
name, and if somebody out there can make us a T-shirt for a Rainbow of Metal band concert, we would love to have it. Uh, a design, definitely. Uh, Shadow, write that down. Write down Rainbow of Metal,
Hold on, I also got to
band
write.
shirt design, so I can think of it later.
How do you spell bourbon?
Uh, BIN. No, no, there's an R. R.
Isn't it
I,
BURBOUN?
yeah, something like that. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like the last word is just bin. Bourbon.
No, there is no I in that word.
No, no, no. Oh yeah, you're right. It's BURBAN.
What?
Yeah,
No.
I'm looking at it right now.
Don't forget, Shadow. Justin and I use text to speech a lot,
Yeah,
so we don't have to know how to spell the words. The
Yeah,
computer
yeah.
does.
That's lazy.
yeah.
I literally learned how to spell the word lieutenant, which is a hell of a word, um, from the
By
uh,
guessing.
no by okay. I knew there was a U in there. Thank you. Uh,
I'm
there's no
sending
I.
you to the Wikipedia page right now. Right, it's BURBAN. Unless, uh, oh wait, no, there's a variant spelling.
Yeah, yeah. You're giving us the Canadian spelling.
Oh yeah, this is a musical subculture. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I knew there was a U in there. You got all 12 months. Nice.
Sweet.
Hello.
It
How
was
you doing, buddy? Come here. Come here. Come on. You're a sweetie. How you doing today? You look bored. You ready to go for a walkies? You were covered in leaves.
okay. I deleted that from the chat on the other end,
Over here.
because I then read the fucking article, and it was about Asian hip hop. I was like, no, no, this is not right. I want the drink.
Mhm.
Why the fuck? Oh, I don't know. So sometimes this can lead you down rabbit holes that are wrong. TCG. Make sure you get the right word. Nerdy.
Oh, I would have just asked the
Sorry.
Word document I use because it has a built-in text to speech.
Yeah, you gotta send me the link to that. What program that is? Nerdy. If you could list out all 12,
He did.
where?
Right below the word bourbon.
Or right above it? Yeah, that would be this.
Yeah, I think you might want to work on November. Just saying.
No, no consent. November. No, we already had November. It's naughty. we don't need no consent November. And even if it were, it would be dubious consent November. Because, no consent is banned, but dubious is okay.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna bring that up. I asked ChatGPT all the things that were uh, subcon contents on Amazon.
Uh,
What was that thing that I just heard? Beep. You sent me.
oh, I just sent you a link to. Technically, it's to the document I just made, but hopefully you can get to the main site
Oh
through
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If not, let me know. I'll hunt
Okay, so
down
it's
the main
Word.
app. Yep,
Okay, yeah, yeah,
it's not expensive either. It's only
For
$6
what?
yeah.
for
Word.
Word.
I
Oh,
didn't know it was that cheap. Like permanently, or
No, it's $6 a month. You can. This might no. This is a different program that you can buy permanently, but you can buy yearly, which is technically cheaper.
okay. So $6 a month, you said?
Yeah, I said technically I think it's like six 99 maybe. So actually $7.
Okay, would be more for me. Canada. Yeah. Okay. Uh, they used AI to generate a nice little image here.
Yep,
I'm gonna copy that. Give me editing permission on your document.
sure.
Okay. The other one, obviously. I requested it already, but um,
All right.
safe word November. You get the gold star, okay, bro. You don't need to keep coming up. Well, keep coming up with them anyway. It's just funny. Uh, oh yeah. So should I open the floors or
sure.
sure? Just give me a minute. Post. No. Yes.
I didn't get an email. But let's double check.
Oh my God, this is great.
Yeah.
I went to go message Raven, and in doing so, I went over to Facebook, and it says there's this post. I got to share it with you guys.
Yeah.
First edition AD&D Gygaxian AD&D. It's a club I'm a member of. No
Yeah.
surprise to anybody. And it says things you can say in response to literally anything when you have nothing to say. As the prophecy foretold, but at what cost? So let it be written, so let it be done. So it has come to this. That's what he, she, they would have said. Is this why fate brought us together? And thus I die? Just like in my dream. Be that as it may, still may be as it may be. That's dumb. There is no escape from destiny. Wise words by wise men write wise deeds in wise pen. In this economy, and my favorite, saved for last, and then the wolves came.
Copy that and create a Google Doc for general stuff that sounds cool and give it a page.
Yep. I'm doing
Yeah.
it now because that's freaking
Because you can reference that later, and if you wouldn't mind sharing it in
your Discord
yeah,
for the
the
show.
group, the writing group or whatever.
I just did that, and now I'm gonna go put it somewhere in mine just for
Yeah.
uh, general reference. I'll just put it in the general
Oh,
category.
oh, you just sent it to me. Okay. Yeah.
I love that. And then the wolves came. Fucking love
Uh.
that.
Yeah.
Raven, where are you? We're 15 minutes away from normal shutdown time, and today is a busy day for me.
Yeah, we stuck on topic for nearly 2 hours today. So
Well, we got a lot done.
yeah,
I actually made 3 lists, including a shopping list. So
yeah,
one list is a list of new band names, but hey,
yeah. Send all but the shopping list to me in Discord, and I will create a similar document to the, well,
what
probably
you,
not
you
similar
don't want my
to.
grocery list?
No, I don't want your
Okay,
grocery list.
let's
I
get
don't need to know how many boxes of pizza pockets you're fucking buying.
none.
I don't believe you. I think it's the only thing on the list. It's like
No, no,
pizza pockets, cereal,
no,
bagged sugar to put in the cereal.
no. We don't do
Fucking,
cereal during the winter. It's too cold.
I don't believe you. Um, I think he has a worse eating habit than Jerry Seinfeld. It's just like 40 kinds of cereal, and instead of milk, he uses sugar.
Sugar and water, you mix it up.
No, he just like raw sugar. You just dig into it. So the link is in the group chat there. I put it out there. I'm gonna go double check to see if I did that again. Yep, yep.
There, you should be an editor now.
Okay, thank you. Uh, very well. Oh, maybe I have to refresh the page. Wrong page. Did I close that? Yeah. Did anyone try popping in?
I don't think so.
I heard I heard something, but I don't know if that was from you, me, or Shadow.
I have no idea. Uh,
No, it could have been for me, but I don't think so.
so okay. Let me go back over to the window. No, it's just the three of us. Okay, so if it's just going to be the three of us for the next 13 minutes, we might as well keep on our conversation.
Yeah.
Um, so fantasy in the new year.
hmm
Uh, you guys have any ideas of what kind of thing you might want to write?
Hmm.
Yeah, kind of. I have a couple of things already in Google Docs. I do want to write a. I hate to say this, but a better thief story than the one Razorfist did, because it was just
I wholeheartedly endorse writing things out of spite.
you know, he meant well, and for maybe it's just not my style of what I want to read. I don't want to have to use the dictionary, on every page.
Oh
You know,
yeah, yeah. I definitely understand that as
I get it that he's famous for the way he speaks and writes his show, and it comes better. It comes across better when he says it in his videos when he's berating somebody or putting somebody down or commenting on a situation. But when it comes
yes,
to reading what should be a quick and fast story about a thief in a D&D world, right? He doesn't know those words. So why would the narrator bother his fans and audience, that being the thief's audience and fans, with these words that are 8 syllables long and haven't been used by anybody in modern times? I
yeah,
get it that you don't want to put too many, make it too simple, and too urban, but at the same time, you don't want to slow down the pace by literally having to go and look up a word to understand what's going on, what's trying to be said in what's ostensibly a crime novel. They, they tried doing that in, I think it was Deadwood, where a lot of the people were using these big, long, flowery words because people did talk like that in some circles in the Old West. But the further away you got from town, the simpler the language was because they didn't have time for that luxury.
Yeah. In some cases, it's also like, would your character would your character speak like that, right? Like having a couple of characters being uh
Like that.
urbane would be the term, is fine, but having, like, it's almost reverse Seattle syndrome, which is like one of the things uh, I I was telling you about, that AI document, for the fantasy book series, which I'll probably lead into because I have no problem using tools for background information and such. Um, and you just ask it questions. And that's one thing I was very clear with. It was, I don't want the world to be like medieval Seattle, and it's like we will avoid Seattle syndrome. It had a term that it was able to reference for
Oh,
that kind of thing.
for those not in the know, what exactly is Seattle syndrome?
Well, modern D&D, all your fantasy world is just fucking Seattle. It's it's got no unique culture because it's multicultural everywhere all the same time, and you're dealing with,
And modern sensibilities, uh,
uh,
whitewashing any references to things that are now considered, bad and evidence of colonialism and white supremacy and crap like that. When you wouldn't even have the genre if it wasn't for
yeah,
certain people. You'd have something completely different, and that's fine if you want to write like you know, a Mesoamerican fantasy story or Africa, like Hungar. That's great.
yeah,
A lot of people will dig that, will want to read it, and it'll help them find more books like that. But trying to rewrite history, or copy what they they think is the ideal history that never happened. If that's your world, that's fine, but
mhm,
don't ram it down my throat because I'm going to see the cover and I'm going to see those two dwarven bakers on it, and I'm going to like, I'm out. Thank you for letting
yeah.
me go on the first page,
It
or
Well, I don't know about D&D, but well, in my dwarves in any game I play, one of the yeah, they have casts, and one of the casts are the different cook
Yes,
types.
no,
Like,
that's not the point he's getting at. The point is, it's avoiding the actual point of the story in the name of, like, so there's a big sub, in literature there are waves of like subgenres and like trends that come in, and right now there's
yeah,
one right now called, cozy fantasy. And cozy fantasy is like, there's a book that's like the leader of the pack right now in that genre, called, uh lattes and,
baristas.
no, legends and lattes, I think it is.
Oh dear God. Okay.
Okay, have you heard of this book? It's about a retiring adventurer who is like an orc woman, and she sets up a fucking barista. She sets up a little cafe, and it's all about, it's cozy, right? It's a nice little cozy,
Mhm.
like heartfelt story. It's not an action thing, and I think the popularity of this current literary sub genre, is what is super influencing D&D right now, which is taking it out of the timeless, enduring um, functionality. Like they put the bakers on the cover. You don't put bakers on the cover of a fucking dungeon diving book. You have Baker as a
Okay, I see what
subgenre,
you're saying.
like as a subclass or like a background story.
Just an NPC that they meet.
Well, even if it's like I was a baker last week, but orcs invaded my village, so I had to pick up a sword.
Right. Well,
Right, I got that little extra skill bonus for that thing in camp or whatever. Right, that might
I
like
can make up a quick rocket stove oven and make some muffins while we're,
yeah,
traveling to the freaking deep dark dungeon. They
maybe gives
forget.
you a plus for healing. So if you eat my meal, you get 2 points of regeneration overnight instead of 1,
Right.
or some stupid thing like that. Or maybe my muffins are magic or some shit like that.
They've completely lost sight of the fact that one, adventuring is hard and it's not for the timid.
Hmm.
It takes a special, unique, above and beyond the average normal person to go out and do those things, to
Well,
be an adventurer, to be the
No,
hero.
no. Let's just be honest. It takes a certain level and a certain type of insanity.
well,
Okay.
it,
Because going out and adventuring is
well,
insane in
Well,
itself.
if
there's
you
a difference
choose to do it,
between.
but there's also the I got thrown into this. I'm a fish out of water
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
That
Right,
there are
because
those stories too. Yeah.
being an adventurer isn't the same thing as being the hero. But you
hmm
should
Yeah.
have both. There should be a hero in every group of adventurers, if not the entire group, which, not always what everybody's in the mood for, but you got to have one guy or gal that is heroic. Otherwise, you end up with nothing but murder hobos.
yeah. Well, which is okay as long as you're playing it off that way. You could be
Right.
a band of
If everybody
mercenaries that
says I
go.
want to play a murder hobo game at session 0 or whatever,
Yeah.
fine, lean into it.
Yeah.
But if you've got a mixed group like I do, and we do have one or more people that want to be the hero, and a couple of people not so much, that can work. But to do like the coziness thing, that's not adventuring.
No,
That's
but you can still tell stories in that, and
sure,
as a
sure.
novel, it works. As a
You
role
know,
playing game, it can work, but it has to be the core essence of the game.
Right,
And
the whole
why are you
slice of
releasing
life
that as
kind
a
of
D
thing.
and D?
What's funny though about that whole genre?
Mm-hmm.
It just reeks of Christmas.
It's got a lot like the game you're making right now, TCG, the
Yeah.
dwarf game, the Hobbit
Um,
game. That would be a cozy role playing game, right? That would be perfect for
Yeah.
that genre. Which we could probably like wrap that thing up, nice crisp package, and do a better job at fucking D&D, just because it started off as that, right? It was intended to be that, right?
Yeah.
It's not a polka dot dress on a 500-pound dude. Look at my pretty
Yeah.
daughter. We used to use makeup on a sow, but Shadow Frozen?
I think so. Oh no, I seen
Yeah.
his eyes move.
You're muted though. Okay.
Grandma's making noise, so
Yeah.
Ah.
Someone just slammed a door here.
Yeah, but you look slack jawed with the same exact expression, no eye movement, and all that for long enough to make us think you were
Yeah.
frozen.
Um, I think unless there's something, I feel like we started something and then we lost the ball. Nonetheless, we're near wrap up. Unless you guys want to go longer.
no,
Uh,
Raven didn't show up, and I got work I got to get to.
yeah,
Uh,
Yeah.
the holidays literally start today for us.
I forgot to put
Uh,
this on the whole fucking stream.
I've got to. I was making my grocery list because I've got to. Uh,
Go and get eggnog.
oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, you know a good use for eggnog?
drinking.
Tackle.
Pancakes.
What?
Pancakes. Eggnog pancakes are
Ooh.
delicious.
Huh.
Now,
That's-
I recommend you buy some heavy cream, a bag of sugar, some eggs, uh, nutmeg, uh, cinnamon, vanilla extract, and make the eggnog.
Yeah,
And some
I
bourbon.
got a.
You need some bourbon for that.
the
I
only
give you
problem is
I
actually
give you
finding heavy
permission.
cream is not easy where I live. Believe it or not. What do we got here?
What you mean? California doesn't have supplies for everybody? Gee, what a
Yeah,
big
yeah, no,
I
we
surprise!
would
don't.
be surprised that you couldn't find heavy cream, but you can use whole milk. Uh, it'll just use a little bit more and simmer it down. You just gotta like make sure you separate the egg whites from the yolks. You gotta do that thing.
Mhm.
There's that recipe in the group chat.
Okay.
Make eggnog. Make eggnog.
Yep. Started watching that, and then I realized if this is a looks like a good recipe, I don't have the money for the supplies right now, so I'm waiting until I have money to
Oh,
watch it.
trust me, bro. If you got $20, you can buy everything on that list.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, that might be a different story then.
yeah. It depends how much those eggs and milk cost where you are.
Eggs, actually, both are not too bad here. We live in the middle of farming
Yeah,
country.
and sugar, and the rest is just spices.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and honestly, I get the pre-ground uh, nutmeg. The only real difference between doing it fresh and otherwise is it smells better. Which yeah, whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
okay. So, party on. I think we'll hit party on.
Yep.
Uh,
Happy trails, everybody, and Merry Christmas. I will
Yep.
see everybody one last time Saturday night, where we're going to talk about new
well, twice
created.
more.
Well, yeah, we're going to definitely play Sunday. Absolutely.
No, Monday. We're
Oh yeah,
meeting
yeah, yeah.
Monday. Yeah,
That's
and then we'll be back the Friday after that. Then the Monday after that. Then we're probably off on Wednesday again, the first.
New Year's Day. I don't know. I mean, I don't see why I can't make it. Uh,
Neither do I, but well,
it,
we'll cross that bridge when we
yeah,
come to
if everybody's too hungover, you know, understandable.
it.
But
I probably won't be.
yeah,
I don't. I don't seem to get hungover. I just stay drunk the next morning.
nice.
And substance abuse TCG is best TCG. uh, you were pretty active today,
So it'll be like a
so
muscle relaxer Monday.
uh, don't do drugs, kids.
No,
Drugs are bad.
very bad.
Bad. Okay, I'm gonna hit the button.